What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Tactical Chinwag podcast. I am your host, Luke Jillings, aka Original Human, and today I am joined by Ryan, aka Dit Commando on YouTube. How's it going, brother?
Hey, all good, mate. All good. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. It's nice to have someone on my first kind of like interview for this podcast as someone who I'm actually good friends with. So thank you for joining me. How you been?
No, hey, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. Like I say, I was really honoured when you got in touch with me and stuff to say, do you want to maybe come on the podcast? I'm a big fan of yours anyway and what you're doing on YouTube, so it's an absolute pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and it's kind of nice because I do watch your content all the time as well. So it's kind of nice to like to I don't know, just catch up again. Like we spoke in the past, but we've both been so busy with YouTube and everything and our lives that it's just nice to kind of catch up as friends and not just as a podcast, but also just have a bit of a chinwag in general. I wanted to talk a little bit though about your time in the Marines, your time in the Royal Marines, and signing up, and like your process of signing up, and how it went by, and how you went about it, and your age, and all that lot. So, give me your origin story. What's your origin story?
How did it start for me then? Hey, mate, there's two parts to my story. And it all began in 2004 when I was still at school. I was doing quite well at school, Luke, and then I went down the wrong path, and every bootleg's pretty much got a story and stuff. And in hindsight, looking back, that was where it all began for me. I went down the wrong path, and I joined the Corps at a young age. Didn't work out for me first time, so then I went back to Sunderland, and I got into all sorts of trouble. I worked on the doors and everything, and I had to really hit rock bottom before I knew that I needed to go back into the Royal Marines, and I didn't rejoin until 2000 and I think it's 2011, early 2012. I put my chit in to join back up as a rejoiner. So I went through like commando training again, and everything just seemed to click into place at that point for me, So it started off in 2012, passed out 2013, and I did just over 5 years, mate, in the course. So it was a strange one for me because when I went back in the Corps, it was like all my friends who I knew before were corporals and stuff now taking lads through training. Now I'm like, man, I've wasted so much time. But you can't read into the future, and I was just happy that I got a green beret, mate, and put it to bed, you know what I mean? So two parts to my story, really, mate, and I've got good memories from both, really.
Yeah, I certainly get what you're feeling at with the whole like seeing your friends kind of advance. Because even though I joined up with 974 troop, I actually got injured and back trooped for quite a little bit of time as well, a couple months.
Yeah.
So them lads that passed out as originals with that troop, I managed to see at a unit. They were already lance corporals. They were already doing their thing, and I was the newbie, even though technically we signed up at the same time. Really.
Exactly the same, So, but you have to do your sprog routine, don't you?
You have to do your sprog routine, yeah.
Getting the wets on, mate. Yeah. I had my fair share of wets tasks, I tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Getting sent to the naffy.
Yeah, it's all good, though, isn't it?
It is. So what uni did you go to when you got out of training?
Believe it or not, we were told because 40 Commando were going to do the last operational tour for the Marines in Afghan at the time. And we were all wanting to go to 40, like, we want to get amongst this,
Yeah.
And the training team, I think it was a little bit of, keeping us keen and stuff to get through training. So they kind of wangled that Afghan ticket at us, you're going to Afghan, it's happening and stuff, Yeah. But as it got closer to the end of training, we nearly passed out. They started saying, well, you're not going to get that choice. They're already done the pre-deployment training and everything. Yeah. That's pretty much index for you guys. So I was like, oh, man, I'm going to miss out on it, Yeah. So I put down 4-2 Commando because I thought, well, I think they were second on the rotation, so to speak. The operational rotation, what they do. Yeah. So like lead Commando, be 40, then 4-2, 4-5. Right, they were next, I believe. Yeah. So I thought, if I'm missing that, I'm going to go straight to 4-2. Put me chit in for that, and I ended up getting 40 anyway. So did the rest of the lads. So I ended up getting posted to 40 Commando, and I was there for like 3 or 4 months, just marking time before I got put in the unit. So me and my mate just,
Was you put as BCR?
Well, it was BCR, for the entire deployment basically. So we were doing some good stuff. Some lads went out to Omar to do some continuation training stuff to get them up to scratch. the more senior lads, just to
Yeah.
get them ready. The best lads from training tended to go there as well because they were, online for going up for Afghan if there was anyone unfortunately potentially get injured.
Yeah.
Fortunately, no one did, so no one went out. Meanwhile, I got selected to go on the boxing team because that's what I did as a civvy. So I was like, well, two birds in one stone. I went to a different unit there again on lease, so to speak, and I ended up boxing for the Corps, which was a good thing. I got to see a different side of the military, in a sports capacity, mate. So it was really good for me actually. Them first few months at unit was a nice easy way to get into it as opposed to getting smashed straight into it, because there was no one there.
Yeah, that's kind of ironic because it's very similar to what I did. I went before that tour that you were talking about, the last one. Obviously, before that was 4-5 Commando, and then before that was 4-2 and 40. You went out together. Now I was BCR for 40 Commando that first time. Yeah, for Herrick 12, I think it was. Didn't get sent out. There was only a handful of us. I didn't get sent out. Got sent back up to 4-5. Became BCR at 4-5. Didn't get sent out, so I put me hand up for something else, doing anti-piracy, and then I ended up doing that, and the whole story goes on. But instead of talking about that, I want to know more about the sports. What was it like being in a sports team in the military?
Oh man, it can be the best and the worst thing, What it does is it opens your eyes up to one, how hoofing it is if you do get on a sports team, because you do get treated with a higher standard. It's like what everyone says. If you play a sport in the military, you're going to get left alone. And it literally was the case, The guy who was looking after us was a colour sergeant who headed up the boxing team. It was like a civilian environment because boxing's quite a close-knit family, It's an individual sport, but when you're training, the ethos is really cemented in. That mixed with the fact that you're all bootnecks and naval personnel, mate, that was solid, So it was brilliant in that sense. But the only downside, I would say, is that when you go into competitions and you see in other parts of the Army and the Navy and the Air Force doing the same thing, you realise how operationally restricted the Royal Marines are because they pump a lot of money into us, let's face it, to get trained,
Yeah.
So if you're required to be back at unit because there's lads needed, then you're going, regardless of what sport you play and how good you are. Whereas some of the Army lads who were doing the same thing were tracksuit soldiers for career, so they got left alone. So, for instance, I went down there for my first stint. It was like 6 weeks. I ended up ripping my my lat in half. Or doing pull-ups. Or doing like a pull-up challenge. Didn't realise it for a few days until I was doing a sparring session, went to throw a hook, and I was like, man, that's really hurting. Ended up getting like is it an ultrasound or something? Similar to what a pregnant woman gets?
Yeah.
One of those, like, mate, your lat's in half, So I got sent home for a month, which was pretty good.
Jeez.
And then I went back to unit, and they were a little bit apprehensive of letting me back on the team. But I eventually went back on the team, did another couple of fights, and I got my ass kicked, let's face it, mate. I was a bit rusty. Had a couple of weeks training. Yeah, I really did get my bum handed to me, so to speak. And then I went back to unit, and I'm like, if only I had a few more months to train and stuff, it would have been a different kettle of fish, mate. Because I was a half-decent amateur boxer,
Right.
But that's the way it is in the Corps, mate. It's, if only you got more time to do that as opposed to being pulled away. But we joined the Corps to be Marines, don't we?
You know? Exactly. So you do, at the end of the day, you're there to do a job, aren't you? But I actually never saw the sports side of the Corps. I never saw the sports. The only things I saw were, when the lads are just doing a bit of fizz and you end up playing a bit of football, or we did a bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu up at 4-5 just to kind of mess about and get the fitness up. But I never actually got to take part. There was a chance that I was going to take part when I was BCR at 4-5. The rugby team needed lads, and I put my name down. I'm terrible at rugby. I'm terrible at it. And there was a handful of us that put our name down, and I think around the same time that they were going off to do the competition was when I put my hand up to do the anti-piracy. Yeah, so it was just a case of you're not gonna get involved, and I was like, all right, it is what it is. Yeah. So did you stay at 40 when you were on the boxing team as well, or did you travel? Or?
Yeah, so I was at 40. I was in Delta Company when I was there. And I was in Delta Company for my entire time. Me and my Bezzy Oppo from training actually got posted in the same unit, same company, same section. So I was happy to stay there for as long as I could, get some experience. And the lads at Delta Company were pretty good, I didn't really have any problems there. I think going on the boxing team seemed to help a little bit with sprog routine for me. It was a little bit more apprehensive to kind of give me a bit of crap, so to speak. So I'm grateful in a way that I got an opportunity to do that, because my time at Delta was a little bit, not easier, but a little bit more grown up, if that makes sense. And then after that, mate, I went all over the place with Delta. Literally everything I did in the Corps, I did at Delta Company. All the things worth talking about. I was so busy there for like 2 and a bit years. It was phenomenal, mate.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, the first place we got to go after the boxing team was America, and that's when I first went to 29 Palms, Mojave Desert. Got to work alongside the US Marines and stuff. So it was really cool to see how them guys and girls got on with their job, because everyone thinks we're the same, don't we? The US Marines and the Royal Marines, and it's so different, I wouldn't say either or is better than each other, because it's two very different job roles, I mean, for a start, the US Marines are huge. They've got a massive capacity. They've got loads of brilliant kit, loads of different amazing jobs. It's
funding.
Massive.
The funding,
mate.
It's crazy.
There's some of the kit that we've got. I was like, wow, you guys get lashed up, and it was really cool to work alongside these guys and to see what they could do as well. Their capability is phenomenal on the battlefield, So it was a privilege in that way. And we got to show them how to drink pretty good over Vegas as well. So that was an experience.
That's awesome. So where else did you go? Did you do anything else fun?
So 40 Commando, I'll list them off. We basically, the first thing I did actually, we went on AT, adventure training, all over Europe. We went to Bavaria, we went rock climbing, did everything, man. I got a photo at the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Palace. I went there as well. I was like, wow, I've seen this in a movie,
Yeah.
It was amazing, mate. Then went to America, went all over the West Coast, San Diego, San Fran, you name it, mate, all over the place. Drove a Mustang up Route 66. It was just brilliant.
That's awesome.
We went on ship a little bit like yourself. Ship was a bit far. I wasn't a ship's person. Like, I was always sick,
Right,
we got to do Gibraltar, do the rock run. We went all over the Middle East, the Mediterranean, you name it, mate. We just stopped off all over the place. So
you got a good thing. You got a good deal there. Yeah.
It was luck, mate. It was luck, because my mates who went up 4-5 at the time, who were like last in line on the operational kind of cycle, didn't get to do any of that till like 5 years in. And I'm like, whoa, I left it just after the 5-year point. I haven't ticked all of these boxes, So for me, it was a bit of luck, mate, And yourself, Luke, the Marines it is a bit of luck in how your time goes, Some people get promoted really early. Some people are hoofing and they don't get promoted until 10 years. And you're thinking, wow,
Being stuck as BCR twice is a good way of proving the shit things.
Yeah, it happens, mate, though, know. And
it does.
I'm not a super soldier by any stretch of it, I was just an average Marine, average fitness, average mentality, average professionalism. I was just an average guy who got lucky with all the good stuff, not so much bad details, And the only thing I missed out for me was something medal worthy, We did plenty of stuff that other organizations did that got medals and stuff, but you know how the Marines are. You don't really get anything for it, really, other than a pat on the back. And I was happy what I did, and I was very lucky to come out of the end of it pretty well, I wished I'd get a tour in Afghan, but mate, everything happens for a reason,
It does, and I feel like it's definitely like an obvious thing that a lot of the Marines do, where it's not so much medals and stuff. It's more of a you've done something good, cool, good effort. This is what you're meant to be doing. Therefore, you're not supposed to really be praised for it. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really get praised for doing crazy stuff. Even if you get a medal, it's more a case of, this is your job, good effort. Like, like,
true, this is
that's
what
awesome.
You're expected to do, and it's something that you can be proud of as well, almost,
Yeah.
And I'll never take anything away from anyone who's been to Afghanistan and things like that. I've got the utmost respect for these individuals, but for us, it just wasn't our time. But it doesn't define us as being like we haven't done anything, because, well, actually, half of my time in the Marines was spent out in different countries doing good stuff, proactive things, helping helping some poor people, with their lives and stuff, and really making a big change. So in the grand scheme of things, your impact across the world, although you might not be doing anything in a war-torn country, your positive influence and impact that you're having around the world is actually far greater than you think,
Yeah.
I'm proud of that,
We definitely joined at like the arse end of Afghan, really, didn't we? So it
100%.
was a race. It was a race to get them tours in, and if you didn't get them
Yeah.
tours in, then that was it. You're done for, because there was nothing else lined up, really.
Yeah.
So and there is this kind of mentality where I know there was a 4-5 where if you haven't done a tour, then you're not really this, that, or the other. But at the end of the day, things have got to change now. So all them lads joining now, there'll be corporals that probably didn't go Afghan now.
The strikeys, the sergeants now without like that experience. And what I like to say to lads is, whenever they ask the question, "Oh, did you do Afghan?" I was like, "Mate, that was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No one's doing Afghan now. I mean, you're getting. Probably my last job that I did in the Royal Marines is the only place probably that you're guaranteed to do an Afghan, but that's for very different reasons.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, if I'd stayed, I'd probably have gotten out there, but in a very different capacity, So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? It's a strange time to be kind of signing up, and you get all these young lads who constantly, I'm sure you get them as well, a lot of young lads being like, is it worth it? What should I do? Where should I train? How should I go about it? And
all the time.
The core changes so quickly. And I learned this a lot from talking to Chris Thrall, like good friends of ours. Like, he joined in a different era to us, and it was totally different. Yeah, totally different. So I could only imagine what it's like now. I mean, I left, 8 years ago I left? It's probably completely different, mate. Completely different.
Mate, you wouldn't believe, I left in back end of 2017, and then that's when all the real changes started to take place. But then if you look at what the Corps do very, very well, amidst all the rumours and stuff like that, if there's no wars on, etc., retention goes down in every part of the military, across the whole world. So it's not just the Marines that might have less manpower and less people interested. It's, we're very, very diverse, and we adapt to everything. That's what makes the Marines very special. It's pick up this kit and make use of it. And I think that's where the mindset really comes in. It's, can you do a task without really having much prior knowledge to it, without having the best kit, and just make do of it? I think that's what we do very well. So I think a big part of the Corps' survivability is having the ability to adapt to the modern world, and it's a very different place in 2020, and lads have to be different in the Corps right now to what they were in Afghan 10 years ago. They have to be different.
Yeah, and the training's actually changing as well. We've got this new. It's longer. Yeah, we've got this new uniform now, which you've seen the uniform, I'm sure, right? It looks fancy.
It's amazing.
It looks nice.
It looks good.
Looks nice.
Yeah,
I'm actually
really
next week, so the week after this one airs, I'm actually having my old corporal on, who is now actually a stripey at CTC. Yeah, Robbie Gray, great guy, and
that's hoofing.
Yeah, and he is actually, I don't know whether he's spearheading the team or he's definitely involved in the team doing this extra training at CTC now.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued to see what are they doing? What's different? How is it different? I know probably around the time you were in, and it was certainly just starting when I was in, is they really, really started to get involved with CQC, CQB. I don't know what they call it now. It's always CQC or CQB, and it's one of the two that people call it. But
it's one of the CQs, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But they really started to push it, didn't they? Especially in training, really started to push it. Yeah.
I mean, I knew from the first time I was in training, the second time, there was the main differences. You hear the rumors of training's getting easier. Mate, I'm living proof that it's not. Training's still really hard. It's very different. But trust me, for every thrashing that they take out, there's something equally as hard mentally that steps in its way. So, there's few things. I mean, when I was first in, thrashings all day, every day, which can achieve so much. We all know what it can achieve,
Yeah.
But if you want to get guys to learn all of this new kit, to be actually thinking soldiers and be proactive and everything else, and there's so much more to learn nowadays than there was 15, 20 years ago. You ain't got time to be thrashed as much. You've got to learn some real hard, dangerous stuff, potentially. Yeah. And the guys are as busy as they ever were in training. It's just in a different way, So I would say training's as hard as it used to be, but it's just very different. There's a lot more kit nowadays to learn than there used to be.
There certainly is,
So
and
much more.
we got offloaded that a lot of the weapons that we got taught. I got taught on this new sharpshooter, the shotgun, and all that lot. But I got taught that during pre-deployment in at 4.5.
Wow.
Whereas now I think they're actually going to start pushing that into the actual training because Robbie Gray was telling me that training's turning to 36 weeks now. That's
6 weeks, mate.
That's a whole month extra.
It's a lot extra, mate. And if you think about it, everyone will say there's room for more as well. You know, there's always room for more because think about it, mate. When you passed out, be honest, I didn't have a clue what I was doing still when I passed out. Thinking, mate, I'm going into a fighting unit now, expected to pick up a GPMG gun. It's like, I don't really know how to use it still, even though I have used it to be able to use it in an operational sense. That scared the living daylights out of me, you know?
Yeah. Well, they always say that you don't really learn until you get to a unit. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
and it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
You know, like you might know how to reload clean, you know, every single part of your SA-80 or your GPMG or your minigun or your mini-me, or whatever. But it's so different when you get to a unit and you have 100%. To reevaluate everything, don't you?
Yeah. Because you get taught the training way, and then when you go to unit, there's a unit way, and you're like, okay. It's like, look, guys, there's a training way, but this is where there's the training that's standard, so you know the standard. But at unit, you're going to do it this way for speed, operational effectiveness, and this is what everyone's doing. So, and that even changes from unit to unit, you know, which I found, you know, SOPs, isn't it? It changes. It is. So
yeah, it changes from troop to troop sometimes.
Absolutely, mate. It's you're a product of your training team, really, aren't you? So, and the guys at Livingston are normally the best guys in the business. Like, you know, the platoon weapons guys.
Oh my days!
Amazing at the job. Mountain leaders, arguably on par with SF. You know.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say it. I would definitely say it. They are extraordinary people. They are extraordinary people.
Unbelievable. And I didn't realize how many people across the tri-service didn't realize just how effective our mountain leaders are. Like, I mean, I couldn't do that job. They are the best of the best as far as I'm concerned. You know, they are unbelievable people.
There was a really old documentary, I think it's on YouTube, about the mountain leaders. Have you seen it? Classic.
Well, I joined the Corps.
It is?
I was like, I need to join the Marines now since watching that. It was phenomenal, man.
Yeah. They are a whole different level, aren't they, really, when you think about it? So, like, you know, you did your time, you're out now, and now you're doing YouTube, mate. Now you're on air doing YouTube with me, mate. What do you think about it?
Unbelievable. Well, I'll have to be honest, and this is for the benefit of the audience as well. I'll be brutally honest. How I got started on YouTube was I was doing a couple of little channels and stuff. I haven't even made it public, really. And even you don't know this. I've had a few other channels, like just messing about, one with my dog and stuff. I really wanted to break YouTube, but I'll be honest with you, mate, the stigma attached, what my friend's going to think, what is the Corps going to think? You know, I was a GPMG gunner, 16 stone, muscled, all of this, and like weightlifting. I'm thinking, now I'm on YouTube, what are they going to think of me, you know? So I was really worried, mate. And then I seen you do your channel at about 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers, and it was you were doing all of the fitness videos and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, he's a bootneck, he's a former bootneck, doing fizz videos. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be doing these videos. What I'm doing, I'm just doing it low key because I was quite embarrassed to kind of break, you know, out that I was doing YouTube. So I thought I had a bit of a watch of your stuff, and about a month later, I clicked on your channel again, seeing that you were like, it was your 10,000 subscriber video. And I was like, man, this guy is killing it. And that's when I reached out to you. Literally at that point, I thought, I'm going to reach out to this guy because Royal being Royal, he'll either mug me clean off or he'll help me out. It's how it is, isn't it?
It's true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I saw it straight away, and I was like, I gotta speak to this guy. I gotta get him involved. I gotta get him in here. But I know what you mean. The stigma, mate. The stigma's difficult with the Corps because when I look back at my time, we were in that weird transition where social media was just starting to shine. Just starting to shine, but God forbid you post anything about the Corps. Not only
you're getting hammered and nailed, mate.
Not only will they like legally be like, hey, you got to be careful with what you're doing, but the lads will destroy you. They'll destroy you.
What's this throbber doing? Hey, Roy, what are you doing? You're a throbber, you are.
Yeah. And because of that, I hardly have any pictures. In the Corps because you are worried of what people think when you're taking No one took a
Too
selfie.
true, mate.
No one
Too
took a
true,
selfie
yeah.
in the core, you know.
Yeah.
So
Mate,
I remember. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, mate. We was in Petra, yeah. One of the great. It was where Indiana Jones was filmed. One of the greatest like historical places on the planet, and I'm like, I'm dying to take selfies, right? And the lads are like, "What are you doing? Take yourself." We're at Petra, man. You know, I'm never gonna come here again.
Yeah.
But you lads, it's ingrained into us, really. We
It
love
is.
to give each other stick as well, and
constantly, mate.
you know, and it's like I was tell you what, mate. As soon as you got back to me, it was like a breath of fresh air, because I was like, you're doing it, you're killing it, and that's all it took for me. And I promise you, that's all it took for me to have that little bit of confidence to say, I'm doing this new channel. I'm going to follow your lead. You know, you've got the blueprint. I'm going to see if it works out. You know, you're leading by example. You're doing a fantastic job on YouTube, mate. And you know, you were inspiring the likes of me and other service personnel to potentially say, you know what, I've been wanting to do this for years, never had the bottle to do it, and I'm doing it now, all because of some videos that you did, you know. So even from the beginning, mate, you know, you were reaching out to people that you would never have guessed, you know. You were trying to cater for an audience of people aspiring to be in the Marines, when really you were catering for audiences like me who left wanting to do YouTube. So, you know, you credit yourself, mate, for doing that. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing YouTube, period.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And I think what happened was when I first started making videos. So I initially made a few videos where I think I reviewed one of my fitness watches, and I never mentioned anything about the core for ages. I would do fitness videos without mentioning anything about the core.
Dude.
And then I remember just turning around and being like, I need to stop letting this stigma follow me around and be like, because at the end of the day, if times are going to advance, the core's going to need a YouTube channel. People are going to have to do this.
1
so I remember,
1,000,000%.
So I remember just making one video. I remember it just being something simple like my time in the Royal Marines, and boom, like it blew up. And it wasn't just the fact that it got the views; it was the fact that there was kids and people being like, "I want more of that. We need to know more. We don't know much." And then obviously I had a kiddo and got the dad bod and stopped making fitness videos, and then I started making the gaming ones, and that's when you got hold of me and other people as well, like Chris Thrall. Started speaking to Chris Thrall and all that lot. So now there seems to be. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
No, you're right.
Another bit. I mean, he got me on his podcast as well. He offered me the opportunity to kind of break the nerves as well, because I was scared to death to do a YouTube video about the core. And he went, come on the podcast, you know, and it'll be fine. And he eased me up into it, and I didn't even realize I was doing a podcast with him. And he was so nice. He allowed me to have that video, and he got me the first ring on the ladder, so to speak, you know. And again, another bootneck who was helped me. So I was almost, you know, thinking all the stigma attached with it. The only two people to help me out are both bootnecks, Royal Marines. So I'm like, what am I worried for? The right guys are here anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're probably passing on that message, you know. I'm sure there's lads who want to join, or bootnecks who have left, who've seen your channel and been like, I'm Chris, who've seen the channels and been like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go as well. I've had countless people. I've had people who are ex-bootnecks who actually contact me because they want to grow a business on Instagram. And they're like, oh, I've had loads, and I've had them being like, hey, I really want to, can you give me some tips? Can you help me out? And it's getting to the point now where there's like, I have a lot of people I'm trying to help out, and it's nearly a job in itself, you know?
It's growing, mate. It's because you've almost, without even really thinking about it, created an avenue, because there isn't one out there. It's almost like a Royal Marine community for people who want to join, people who've done the bit, want to leave and do something else. Because let's face it, you hit onto it. If you don't have an online presence this day and age, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's recreationally, whether it's for a business, or whether it's for ideas or expression, you're going to miss out. 2020 to 2030 is the age of the digital. It's the digital age, you know, and hopefully the core and everything else clocks onto it, you know, because it's going that way.
I think they will. With the whole trailer of the new kit and stuff, it was all like, it looked like, have you played Rainbow Six Siege? Have you played that game? And they have like the operators and they come out and it's all super cool. That's what the uniform was like when they revealed the uniform. I was like, this is Rainbow Six Siege. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
so
the guy who actually videoed that, I served in Delta Company with. I'm
Oh,
not going to
okay.
mention his name due to privacy reasons. Even
Roger.
though he's
Yeah.
out there, he's quite openly out there, but he's a fantastic videographer and
Yeah.
photographer. He did all our footage on Black Alligator in America, all the field
Oh, okay.
firing and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll send you that video actually. That might be, yeah, I'll send you that to react to actually if you want to.
Yeah,
it's a
send
fantastic video.
Send it. I'd love to see it.
And so he's designed all of that. Like he's a phenomenal guy. So they've got the right people in the jobs to promote the core now, you know. And you're doing it as well, bro. You know, you're doing a good job of it.
Yeah,
man.
in a different way. It's a different way, isn't it? It's as if like a lot of my videos now, and a lot of your videos as well, because we have very similar content now. Is all it's all kind of video game and reaction video kind of focused, and it feels like it's a younger audience. And if anything, it's probably bringing more people to the core. The core right now,
100%.
Yeah, they have a struggle of trying to advertise to young people.
Because I've thought of this, and you've clocked on straight away. If you think about it, it's all about engagement. Something engaged you to join the core. In our era, it was sold as a challenge. You know, be the best, the 0.01%. It really worked for our generation, but it ain't going to work for the current generation because they're not that way inclined. Challenge it, and someone's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You know, there's no pressure really now. What they want to do is relate to people doing things what they do. And honestly, not many kids growing up will think that the likes of me and you, Royal Marines, love to game. We're geeks at the end of the day who passed one of the hardest courses in the world. But not many young'uns know that. So if they can relate to us thinking, whoa, he was a Royal Marine and he plays games, he loves Warhammer and stuff like that, man, I can be a Royal Marine then, you know? Yeah. And it's not all about boxing and this. It's, mate, you can join the corps and be a nerd. Let's face it.
It's totally true. It's totally true. You know? And at the end of the day, like, I literally grew up playing video games. Granted, it may not have been the spark that ignited going in the Marines, but it's something that I used in the military as an 100%. Escapism. 100%. I mean, I actually attribute joining the Royal Marines to watching Bear Grylls and Ray Mears and Commando on the Front Line, mate. Oh my days, I used to watch
Commando
that stuff.
On the Front Line, yeah, mate.
You know, that was the stuff that got me into
one of the best.
Yeah, like that show was literally amazing. Yeah, and I attribute that for us, but it's got to change.
There as well.
Yeah, I remember going into training and seeing some of them lads who were in the show. One of them was now a corporal. One of them, I remember. So one of the guys who was in the show from start to finish in that troop, it was I can't remember what his name was, but it was the guy who was having a laugh and couldn't, like, do you know, like when you approach the office, you knock on the door and you're like, Corporal, I'm 300.
Yeah, I've seen him as well.
Yeah, he was at the guard post at the front of CTC. He was a corporal and he was checking everyone's clothes before they went ashore. So like, he was like, your socks, you got like standard issue plus socks. Get back and change him. Like, I was like, wait, you were on Commando on the Front Line, weren't you? He's like, shut up and go and get changed.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know exactly who you're talking about, man. But it's that relatability as well, mate. I think that sets us apart a little bit, because you know when you're talking to a Royal Marine that no matter what age they are, well, granted a certain age, but everyone pretty much today, we've been through the same training program at the same place. Even the officers have been at the same place. So there's no real, there's a hierarchy in terms of, you know, leadership, but there's not necessarily a hierarchy in terms of power and I'm the boss kind of thing. It's like we've been through the same training, guys. The bosses have been through leadership training. We all respect each other, and it's that common ground that we can share. You know, I mean, before YouTube, we didn't know each other, but we know each other through our experiences together, you know, and apart as well. Yeah. So it's a special bond, mate. You know,
there is a special bond that is now that's like it's attached to the Royal Marines, and I think that also helps the fact that they kind of encourage that in training. When you're in training, they get the old guys in, the old bootnecks. Yeah. They always get these bootnecks who were in World War II or, you know, and they're like super old and they come and tell you stories. It's so inspirational, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And they come and visit you not only day one, like the first couple of weeks of training, but they come and see you at the 30 miler. They're there and they want to support you. It's the Royal Marines through and through in their blood all their life. You know?
All day,
yeah.
And you look at them, one of our mentors did... did a good part of the 30 miler with us, and he was like 60-odd-year-old. And you know what? He smashed it. He was in front of us, and it was like inspirational for us. I'm like, there's a 60-year-old bloke doing a large part of this with weight on his back. He had his hands in his pocket. You know, when you're a recruit and you see your corporal walking up the tour with his hands in his pockets, and you're like, how is he doing that so easily? You know, and I'm hanging out. Mate, but you know, we've all became Marines, haven't we? And hopefully we can pass on the same level of mentorship in a different way now. You know, maybe it's not necessarily on the 30 miler, but like what you're doing, mate, you're reaching big audiences, you know, and you're giving little snippets of information, you're helping them. Your Discord channel's booming with advice channels, and it's self-churning now, so everyone's working with it.
Yeah,
what a community, mate! You know,
it has been special. It has been special, and your community is growing crazy as well. I mean, you've got thousands of subscribers now. Like, you're not messing about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you're bigger than what I was before my channel blew up during the whole virus thing. You're bigger than what I was, so you're getting there, man.
Yeah, I'm humble in the numbers, you know, because I know for some it's really hard work, and I feel lucky in a way that I've had that advice off you, and that almost like mentored into it, you know. And if it wasn't for that, I know I wouldn't have grew as quick, because there's a sweet science, YouTube, isn't it? But above all else, I think one thing that you said to me in the beginning with YouTube is consistency, and I've heard that
really is
so much. And when people say consistent, it's not just about you've got to put videos out. You got to put videos out every day, mate. You got to put the content out. You got to put the social media posts. If you slack off for a day or two, you will see it hitting the numbers big time.
Roger.
So it's your numbers for 230 ain't luck. It's because the grind is there. And whoever's in YouTube looking at the algorithms and all of that, they're looking at who's turning up to work every day. And they're seeing that this guy's turning up every day. So numbers aren't accidental, really, are they, you know?
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I'm thankful I've got like 7,300 just before this podcast, actually. So, yeah, I'm grateful for every one of them. Like, you know, if I never got another subscriber now, I'll feel like I've accomplished something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to be up there in no time. Easily.
So,
I'd really like the Royal Marines to start taking YouTube and stuff serious now. And I know they have a channel and they put the odd video out, but they should have a team. They should have a team of bootnecks, ambassadors, bootnecks who are actually in the Corps, just like a sports team. They should have a team that's willing to travel from unit to unit, interviewing lads, talking to lads, seeing what's going on, current affairs. They need to get on top of it, mate. I mean, I know us two, me, you, Chris, and I know we're all willing to help them. They just 100%. Need to, you know, they need to. I
might have a few contacts, you know, because my day job, I work for a military preparation college, and we have liaison officers work with us to be able to, you know, obviously speak back and forth with recruitment and stuff like that, because we put people into the military, and specifically the Marines. We put quite a few into the Marines, actually, from the college. So it is worth having a conversation over, you know.
It certainly is.
I think you've got the power to be able to at least persuade the conversation with your numbers. I mean, 7,000 for me is good, but is it worthy of a conversation yet? I'm not sure, mate, you know.
Right. I mean, maybe. You never know, though, do you? I mean, at the end of the day, they've got to be willing to put it out there. And I know logistically there's also kind of, I wouldn't even say logistically, I would say more security-wise, there's kind of things they've got to look out for. They can't really show too many faces, and if they're on tour or whatever, because then people get targeted and stuff. So I understand that. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's no reason why they can't make a video series at CTC, one a month, of just being like, this is week 24, bottom field pass out. This is what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they need to put that out to get 100%. These young lads wanting to join, or young girls even as well. Because that's going to happen soon as well, you know?
Well, they're going through training right now.
Yeah.
So it's happening. And like you say, if you think about it, it's almost if they could filter into each network that's out there doing really well, filter into your network, when it gets bigger, hopefully, you know, Chris Thrills, who's got a thriving YouTube community already, you know, you're looking on nigh on 300,000 people close to already there that, you know, subscribe to your channel, and you can push out worldwide information. I don't know. It's worth a shot, isn't it? Because
you never know. You never know. You really,
let's
I think
let's make it happen.
Let's try and make it happen. I'm sure a lot of the people watching this will be like, hell yeah, let's go over to the Raw Marine channel and be like, let's get this going.
So here's a perfect example. Roy Marine's going live. I don't know. You're doing a takeover of the Roy Marine's channel. You know how like famous celebrities do like a takeover of Instagram?
Right.
You know, Original Human's doing a takeover, right? Bang. That video gets put onto Roy Marine's, and it's networking, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is networking, but it's also that I bet there's a bunch of people who are watching our videos, both of us, who are from the US who know nothing about the Royal Marines. And it's not only getting people to join up, it's getting people aware of who they are. Just 100%. Getting people, just getting the voice out there, the name out there. Who are the Royal Marines? Yeah. Where did they start? How did they influence US military? How did they influence military around the world? And that inspires people to join, you know?
100%,
and it takes time, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
And knowledge is power, isn't it, as well? And it's I think by sharing all that information and stuff, I mean, we get a lot of Commonwealth soldiers coming into the British military in general, you know? So that might you might be a source of information for people overseas to join the British military, and you don't even know it, you know?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. So where do you see your channel going in the future then? What's your plans? What's your goals?
I'll be honest with you, mate. It's so how can I put it? I've got a rough idea of what I'm doing now. I'm just starting to get the hang of it. Before I did this, I didn't have a clue with computers and everything. OBS, mate, was unbelievable. I didn't have a clue about it. So I had to learn on the job, made a lot of mistakes early on, finally getting into the rhythm of the reaction videos. I'm kind of happy with where that's taken me, but I want to push out a little bit more of my own content. You know, I'm doing reaction videos. It's great. I'm doing the gaming videos. I've stopped that for a little while just because I've got a full-time job and it's really hard to get that in. So I've been doing Twitch a lot more because I can get the live stream and it's done, you know, and I enjoy that. In the future, in an ideal world, if it gets to the point of where I can have it as a full-time job, I'm going to be doing reaction videos every day. I'm going to be doing gaming content every day. But I'm just seeing where it goes, mate, to be fair. I'm an open book at this point because I've found YouTube is not necessarily where you want to go. It's where it takes you, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and 100%. You got to ride that wave. You got to ride that wave, mate. Yeah.
So I'm open-minded, mate. You know, my original thoughts, I don't know if it was you I was talking to or it was Chris, but from doing his first ever episode with him, my first ever episode with Chris, I wanted to go down the podcast route straight away. Now I realized in terms of growth, no one's going to watch a podcast from Billy No Mates, you know? I had nobody subscribed.
Right.
So maybe that's an option, but I'm nowhere near the realms of numbers yet, mate. I'm quite humble in understanding that, you know? So I'm just going to crack on. I'm going to continue to enjoy it, mate. I'm going to watch you smash it, you know, and just enjoy the community, mate. If it grows, it grows, you know. I just look forward to speaking to all the people, subscribers, and just having a good time, mate, you know.
Yeah.
If it grows, it grows.
Hell yeah.
I'd love for it to, though, you know. It'll be a dream come true.
It's awesome, isn't it? I mean, I'm doing this full time now, and it really is just like, it's a dream, man. Mate. It's a dream, mate. I cannot believe it because this time last year, where was I this time last year? I was working an internship doing programming, trying to plod along and get my schooling done. I'm still in school, by the way. Like, I'm still trying to get that done.
Smashing it, mate. We were talking the other day, and it was like, mate, Original Human's schedule is busy.
Yeah.
You know, you mustn't sleep, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you're the same. Your wife's pregnant, right?
Yeah, she's due.
Can I say that? Can I say that? Am I okay saying that? Or not? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's funny old thing. I haven't told many people, but I've told entire YouTube community, and I've told Twitch. So it's like I'm an introvert, mate. Probably similar to yourself, you know. But I feel comfortable on camera. It's weird, mate.
It is weird. You know? It is weird. It's as if you're talking to one person, but actually you're talking to thousands. There's like thousands of people watching.
Yeah, you're talking to like what, hundreds of thousands per day? It's crazy.
Possibly, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, I've got another baby on the way. You've got a baby on the way. Like, we're busy people, but we like this. This is fun. Opening this dialogue is fun. So it's been around 45 minutes. Where can the lads find you? Where can we all get your content? Where are you? On Twitch, on Instagram, on YouTube? Tell everyone where to find you so we can get socials out there for you.
Awesome, mate. Well, you can find us on YouTube at Dit Commando. If you want the links and stuff, it's on my YouTube channel, Dit Commando, guys. I'm active on Twitch every single night. And if you just type in Dit Commando on there or visit my YouTube, I've got a link with all my social medias and stuff, guys. So I'm just grinding, troops. If you want to follow me, then great. And I'm just happy to be part of the community, also part of your community, really, mate. I feel like I'm still part of it, really. I'm just what's the word? I'm following your lead, bro. You're smashing it, you know.
You're definitely part of the community, and I feel definitely part of your community as well. I pop over to your videos, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And everyone's like, "Hey, Original Human, how's it going?"
It's crazy,
so,
mate.
It's nice.
When someone like you or Combat Arms or Bootleg Gamer, Chris Thrall, they pop over. It's like, hey, you know these guys. Of course I know these guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for everyone watching, I will or listening, I will leave links down below in the YouTube video for all of Jen Dit's socials. So definitely go and check that out. Give him a subscribe. Give him a like. I'm hoping, Ryan, that this is a regular thing. I'm hopefully getting some good people on here, some really interesting people. But I also want to keep you on here, you know, for as long as possible.
No, I would love to come back and even talk about your any questions for you, mate. I would love to ask anytime you want, really. So yeah.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, it's just starting to break up the internet, which is kind of ironic because we're getting to the end of it now. So yeah, thank you, Ryan, for joining me. I really do appreciate it on one of the first ever Tactical Chinwag podcasts. We've got some great content coming up. Again, links down below for everything for Jen Dit. Definitely go and send him some love. He deserves it. He's working super hard over there on Dit Commando on the channel. So yeah, thank you guys, and thank you, Ryan, for being here. What an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. Hey, and thank you, buddy, for getting me on the podcast. It's an absolute honor, mate. And do you want to leave you on this note as well, mate? Like, Jen, you're inspiring a lot of people. You should be very proud of yourself, mate. And thank you for all the advice you've given me, mate. Without you and the advice, I promise you I wouldn't be doing this, bro. So thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it, bro.
No worries, man. That's what bootnecks do, right?
Yeah, man. We do. And we, apart from seeing each other off now and again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, everyone. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.